And, I mean, that doesn't really affect me too much, but, I mean, after that I realized that maybe, that could have been the source of a couple things, because the actual experience that I had my first time was, I had this cat named Tiki, and...
The first Tiki?
Yeah, the first Tiki. She was gray and white. She was the most protective cat ever, but she was especially protective over me. My mom thought it was because I was a little boy. And, I mean, my sister was 4 years older than me. Well, I mean, she is 4 years older than me. And
You're regressed in time.
But, yeah, she thought that it was because I was a little boy, and she was just very protective. But Tiki remained very passive around everybody in the house, but she took a certain liking, and, she would protect me. Like, I mean, every time, my mom would yell at me, she'd start hissing at my mom. Every time my mom would yell at my sister would yell at her, she would just sleep, kind of play it off as nothing.
True.
And I remember one night, this was when my sister first moved to Michigan, and Tiki was in my room hissing at one of the walls, and I was like, Mom, what's going on, and she's like, this isn't good, come out into the living room. So she came out I came out into the living room, and Tiki came out there too, and she was hissing at, like, the same wall. It was like this wall in my room, and then I came out into the living room, and she was hissing at this wall.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Same,
was
like, direction.
Yes. Yeah. And she wasn't just, like, hissing, she was, like, arched back, puffy tail, like, hair.
Stimuli.
Yeah, and she was, like, and, like, she was trying to scare something off, and, that night, I had a dream, because there was this, giant weeping willow that I used to, we always used to play on, and, one of the limbs was cut off, and we drew a face on it, and, I mean, we were all just kids and everything, so we used to pretend it was, like, our Power Rangers base, and play off of that.
Zordon.
But, yeah, but I had a dream that night that, a hand came out of the stump, and was just, like, reaching up, and I was just there watching it. And that really creeped me out, and I don't know what it
freaked me out, too.
But then, after that, my sister came back, a little while after that. And then we moved to West Allis. And in West Allis, my mom had a Ouija board, and she worked during the day and whatever, even on the weekends, so it was just me and my sister at home. And we were, let's see, I was probably about 8 or 9, she was 12 or 13, and she's like, let's play with the Ouija board. So we were playing with it, just, like, asking random questions, like, what's your favorite color? I was going to say, do you watch us while we sleep, but that's something I'd like to ask now. But no, she's like, do you watch TV, or do you do this? And then, like, the house kind of got an eerie presence about it, because I think we attracted something that we didn't know we were fucking with. And I guess my mom had the Ouija board in there a certain way, and we put it back in there. It looked like it was in there, because, like, there was a phone book, and then just enough space that you could put the Ouija board in there, and then, we folded up the board, put it back in there, put the mouse thing in the corner, yeah, and then put it so that the same side was facing out. But my mom knew that we had messed with it, so she's like, we gotta get rid of this. So she threw it out. Next day, I opened the garbage can door, because, like, it was up by the phone books, and it was there, and I was like, hey, Mom, did you go grab that? Because I didn't, and Teresa didn't, and she's like, no, we gotta get rid of that thing. She threw it away again. Later that night, actually, she opened the door, and it was there again. And it was like, she did this 3 more times, and then the last time she did it, she threw it away. And then, like, when it appeared, we went and checked the trash, and it wasn't in the trash, so we're like, okay, this thing's trying to get us, or just trying to stay with us. So when we moved, we left that there. And,
that's awesome, I love it.
Oh, and then... Let's see, that's as far as that goes. My old house...
Yeah.
There's this picture of the Virgin Mary that I have, and it's a pretty famous picture. It's just like her holding the baby Jesus with one of her hands up like this, and she's got a cut on her face. But the one in my the one that my mom had didn't have a cut, and it was just like clean face, everything. And one night, I got really angry, and, me and my mom were fighting and everything, and she was working 3rd shift at that time, and I would just leave my room, and this was, when my sister wasn't living with us, and I heard some rustling around in my room, and my cats were all up in arms. They were running back and forth through the house. My door was closed, and they were hissing at the door, and they were, like, coming back, like, hiding behind the couch, looking around, and I was like, what the fuck? And, I mean, it just sounded like light rustling. I go into my room, both of my pillows are torn open.
Yeah.
My sheet is just, like, it looked like someone just took a knife, went straight down the bed. My TV had been, like, it had been knocked over. It wasn't, like, shattered or anything. My dresser, all the drawers were out, the clothes were everywhere. And on the picture, I noticed there were 2 new cuts. And, like, for some reason that was what I wanted to look at first. I just looked, and there were the cuts. I mean, it looks like... I mean, this just sounds completely ridiculous. Even ask, like, I mean, as credible as my mom is, ask her, because she knows that didn't have the cuts before that night, and I told her about it, and I just kept hearing random shuffling noises all throughout the night, and she came home, and this was, like, when I had school the next morning, too. I was so scared that I hunkered in the opposite corner of the living room, just with a knife, just waiting for something to come out of my room, and nothing did. And my mom is like, we have to figure out something about this. So she moved the picture into the next room. Nothing ever happened again. And she said that picture is very particular about where it likes to be and where it doesn't like to be. And it probably just didn't like the fact that, you know, me and my mom were fighting. Where's the picture now? And then once we were fighting...
Where's the picture now?
It's hanging in Teresa's room against the wall that you and she share.
Alrighty. Mm-hmm. I want to take a look at this. Yeah, your mom was telling me about, like, when she was a kid with her, like, at your almost house or something, when her and her sister or something,
Gerda.
Yeah, shared a room and everything.
Yeah.
With the tapping on the wall.
Yep.
Gerda, it's not me. I'm over here.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, that kind of crap, let's see. Yeah, after that we got into another fight, and I took that picture off the wall, which is a dumb idea, and I put it out in the living room. I said, that has no place in my room. Because, I mean, me and my sister switched rooms. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment. We did it all the time. And at the time it was in my room, and I took it out. And for the whole time that it was off my wall, I had really, really, really bad and disturbing dreams. And I don't know if it was just, like, you know, a subconscious thing, or maybe it was something actually, like, telling me that it wanted to be on the wall. But then I put it up on the wall and everything was fine. But now we start at my dad's house. And my dad's house, that, like, you just walk in there and it's got just such an overtone. Like, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, it's not even the feeling of discomfort or the feeling
it's
of...
the smell.
Well, no, it's not even the feeling of discomfort. Or like, you know...
Like the car.
Not wanting to be there. It's just pure animosity you feel as soon as you walk in the door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a very quaint house. It's a ranch-style home, and it's just like... It just feels so spiteful and angry because so many bad feelings have been shared in that house. I mean, when it was built, you know, I mean, my grandfather and grandmother had, well, according to Jenny and Josh, my brother and sister, they had a perfect relationship until that, I mean, the house was newly built, they moved in there, and they fought all the time. And then my dad and my grandfather fought constantly. My dad and his brother fought constantly. My mom and my dad in that house fought constantly. And me and my dad still fight constantly. Well, not still, but like when, you know, as of recently, we fought pretty frequently. And just the amount of, you know, words, fists, everything that have been thrown back and forth in that house, just, I think it kind of stained